All right, let's dive into this. We always hear about billions and billions of stars out there, right?
Right.
And we're finding more and more planets all the time. Some of them have got to be habitable, right? So, statistically speaking, shouldn't the universe be, like, crawling with alien life? I mean, where is everybody?
Yeah, that's the Fermi Paradox.
It's a head-scratcher for sure.
It is. It's a big one. Astronomers, philosophers, everybody's been trying to figure it out for decades.
We've got our ears glued to the, well, galaxy, I guess.
Yeah.
Looking for any little whisper from E.T., but nothing.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy when you really think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, all that cosmic real estate just sitting there, and as far as we know, we're the only ones throwing a party.
Yeah.
But what if, and stick with me here, what if the answer has nothing to do with spaceships or little green men?
Yeah.
What if it's about something way more fundamental, like a limit to knowledge itself?
Okay, now that is an interesting thought. That's actually something a researcher by the name of Antonio Gelisfilio has been working on, a hypothesis anyway. He argues that there might be a ceiling, a limit on how far any civilization can advance, and he calls it the ULTD.
ULT.
The universal limit to technological development.
Okay, so not just we haven't figured it out yet, but more like you literally can't figure it out. Like a cosmic speed limit that nobody can break.
Yeah, exactly. And it might sound like something straight out of Star Trek, I'll admit.
It does, kind of.
But he backs it up with some pretty compelling evidence. He points to what we're experiencing right now, right here on Earth.
Okay, how so?
Think about projects like the Large Hadron Collider, the James Webb Space Telescope, even just our efforts to understand things like, I don't know, fusion power. These are huge achievements, but they're also incredibly complex and ridiculously expensive.
No, that's true. We're basically throwing everything we've got at these problems. Our best and brightest are working on them, and progress is still slow, painfully slow sometimes.
And that's kind of Jelly's Phyllis point. We're starting to bump up against that ULTD right here, right now.
Okay, I'm intrigued. But I'm not totally following. You're saying there's a limit to what we can know. How does that even work?
Think of it like an apple tree.
Okay.
At first, all the biggest, juiciest apples are right there, easy to reach.
Low-hanging fruit.
Exactly. But as time goes on, you got to climb higher. You need taller ladders, maybe even cranes. You're putting in way more effort for each additional apple.
I'm with you.
Eventually, you get to a point where getting that next apple just isn't worth the cost. You know, it might not even be possible.
Okay, I think I see where you're going with this.
Yeah.
But how does that translate to an entire civilization? Like, do we just run out of resources? Or do we literally hit a knowledge barrier that we just, I don't know, can't get past?
It's not so much about running out of stuff like oil or iron ore. It's more like, imagine you get to a certain level of technology, right?
Right.
You figured out fusion power. You can mess with genes. You've even got AIs that put our best and brightest to shame. Super advanced, right?
Yeah, that's like Star Trek future stuff. Sign me up.
Right. But then think about trying to take the next step, something even further beyond that.
Okay. Tougher, but we'd figure it out, right? We're clever.
Maybe. But what if that next discovery needs, say, 1 billion times more energy than we can even produce right now? Like, we're talking star-scale energy just to run the experiment.
Oh, okay. So it's not that the knowledge is gone. It's that getting to it is impossible, basically.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
with super tech, there's a wall.
Exactly. And that's where the ULTD gets really wild when you connect it back to Fermi's paradox.
Got one.
If there are civilizations out there that hit this wall, it might not be spaceships or giant structures that give them away. It might be something way more subtle.
Subtle how? I thought we were talking about civilizations hitting a limit, maybe not even surviving if they screw it up. What's subtle about that?
What they leave behind,
Yeah.
their legacy.
Okay, now you've lost me. What kind of legacy can you leave if you're stuck on your own planet, not blasting around the galaxy?
Think about what we're doing now. AI research, trying to make computers that think. What if these advanced civilizations took that to the extreme?
Like instead of sending out explorers, they make, I don't know, giant thinking machines.
Right.
Or whole virtual universes inside computers.
Exactly. Or maybe they encode their knowledge in ways we haven't even dreamed of yet. A cosmic library, but not made of books, you know, woven into the universe itself somehow.
So instead of a message in a bottle, it's like, the universe is the bottle,
Yeah.
and we're just starting to see the message, maybe.
Right. And remember, the ULTD doesn't mean, poof, the civilization is gone. They might still be out there, but they've changed their focus, moved beyond physical stuff, maybe.
Okay, this is blowing my mind a little. So we're not looking for little green men anymore, but for egotists, right? Whispers of something so far beyond us we don't even have the words for it.
It's a possibility. Maybe we're not even listening the right way. What if the signals are there, but they're not radio waves or lights, but something totally different? Something we need to fundamentally change how we understand knowledge to even perceive.
Okay, now I'm getting chills. But this still leaves us hanging, doesn't it? What about our future? If there's a universal speed limit, are we doomed to hit the same wall? So we're saying even super advanced aliens, if they're out there, they might hit the brakes too. Is there any way around this ULTD thing? Or are we all just stuck?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? And the thing is, this Jellyfila guy, he doesn't really offer a cheat code. There's no easy answer, no way to just bypass the universe's rules, you know?
Yeah, no free lunches in cosmology, I guess.
Right, and maybe that's the whole point, right? Like, it's a reality check. Even with all the brains and tech we can imagine, we're still fundamentally limited by the laws of physics, by how much we can actually discover. It's humbling in a way.
I see what you mean. But I gotta be honest, it's also kind of depressing, you know? If every civilization is stuck on its own planet, just puttering around in their own little corner of the universe, what's the point of it all? Why bother striving, exploring, trying to figure things out?
See, I think that's where it gets really interesting. What if the point is the journey itself? The constant pushing, the questions that drive to understand. What if that's the legacy?
Okay, you're going a bit philosophical on me here, but go on.
Think about it. Maybe it's not about some galactic empire or creating the perfect virtual world, but about the echoes we leave behind, the questions we ask, the stuff we tried, the things we learned along the way. That's got to count for something, right?
So it's not the destination, it's the friends we made along the way. Except in this case, it's knowledge instead of buddies.
Exactly. And who knows, right? Maybe those echoes, those traces of our experiments and discoveries, maybe that's what another civilization might find one day. Billions of years from now, some other species picks up on this faint signal that we were here asking the same questions they are.
Okay, now that is kind of a beautiful thought. So even if we never shake hands with an alien, never find out we're not alone or search for knowledge, it still matters.
It becomes a legacy, not just for us, but for anything that comes after. A little whisper that says, hey, we were here and we tried to figure this place out too.
I like that a lot. Makes you realize the scale of it all, you know? We might be small, but our curiosity, that's something pretty huge.
Right. And maybe, just maybe, that's enough. That in itself is the mark of a great civilization. Not how far you spread, but how deeply you understand, how much you keep asking why.
Wow. That is one heck of a thought to wrap our heads around. A totally new way of looking at things. Thank you, seriously, for taking us on that deep dive. It's been amazing. And to everyone listening, keep looking up. Keep those questions coming. Who knows what we'll find out there. Until next time.